Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Sunema.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at Civolution.
This is a brand new big board game from Stefan Feld, one of our favorite designers. And we're going to try to give you a distilled look at the game today, because this game is a lot. This game has so much stuff. Well, as always, I'm going to try to do a brief overview, and I'm going to try to keep it brief, because there is so much stuff going on. We cannot go into everything. It would be like a 5-hour long video. This game is played over 4 rounds. Every round you're going to do these 8 different phases. Most of them are going to be things we're not going to talk about because just new cards, things you can get, looking at events, all of that. The meat and potato of the game is the action phase over here. In the action phase, you are going to go around the table doing actions. On your turn, you can do an action, which is one of these, a lot of things. So you can use 2 dice. Let's say I want to do the production action. I will use a 3 and a 5 to do that action. After that, those dice are used up. When I don't have any more dice left, I will do a reset action, which moves this track. And depending on the number of players, let's say we play a 2-player game, when it moves over here, the round is going to end. Then we're going to go through some scoring and evaluating what we have done on that round. So what are you trying to do? Whatever you want. Like a lot of things. You are upgrading these actions to be better at the things you want to do. And what do you want to do? I have no idea. You're trying to play cards. That's going to give you abilities, scorings, movement on tracks. You're trying to get resources. There's only 18 of them in the game, so it's very simple to keep track of. You're trying to move around on the board, exploring the board to find different things. Some are positive, some of these are negative. You are trying to find where the different resources are, so it is easier to get the resources you need to play the cards in your hand. And you're trying to do all of this in a better way than the other players. The scoring in this game is going to come mostly from the cards you play here. Depending on how high they are, you're going to score more points, and also points for the tracks. All the things you place here can only be placed like only here. I can only now play yellow inside cards. I cannot place that anywhere else. So you're trying to manage this and manage this, manage the actions, and try to make your head not explode. And that is kind of what you do in the game.
There's a lot. There's like... First play of this game was so overwhelming. I don't remember the last time I felt this overwhelmed by a game.
There is the thing about this game, which makes it so hard for me the first time you play it, is that it says just, hello, do whatever you want. For example, subscribe to this channel. You could do that.
Yes.
Not in the game.
This game says
but
so,
you could do
actually.
it. So you can do whatever you want.
Yes.
Even though we played like a preset of cards. You get a hand of cards. And there's supposed to be a synergy there, I think, when I got them with like, oh, I get these things now, which is supposed to help me in my first play of the game. I don't understand how any of these work together. I would suggest doing it the first time you play, because starting the game by choosing things is harder. But I will say, when you get over that first play, from the second play, I think we shaved off over an hour on the 2-player game.
Yes.
So from the second one, it feels not that overwhelming.
Yes, because then you kind of know that, okay, it's an open, sandboxy feeling Euro game, but now I have chosen some of the cards that I want to play. I have a little game plan. And you might not do the game plan, but at least you have a vague sense of what you're trying to accomplish.
I will say one of the negatives in the beginning here is that this is going to be a hard game to teach. We played this a few times with 2. And I was thinking, oh, we should play it with more players before we do a review. But I was like, I don't want to teach it to anybody. But we found a 3rd player and he learned the rules. I did like a half teach, but he like had 50, 60, 70% feeling of the game from before, which made it only like a 25, 30-minute teach, because he kind of knew the rules before we started. So the problem isn't that it's so hard. Like, it's not every action makes sense. It's just so overwhelming and so hard to get this to new players. So yes, that is a thing that is going to be a problem, I think, for me going forward playing this game.
Getting this actually to the table.
What do you feel about the interaction? Because we play a lot of Stefan Feld games 2 players. Here there is the map, there is stuff going on. Is there interaction in the game?
There is, but I don't feel like this is a very interactive game. Stefan Feld doesn't have these very interactive games in general. But this feels like it's this challenge. Like, what is a Stefan Feld game? He makes so many different kinds of games. This is a new thing that he's made. It doesn't remind me of many other things that he's made, but I
A few
feel like
exceptions, I would say.
yeah, cool. I would say that I would be happy playing this with 2 players. There's the only thing kind of that is a lot of interaction, if there is a lot, potentially with less players.
Yeah, because you probably will do some things on the map, but you don't have to. But with more people, there is like a higher chance of somebody doing it and then maybe somebody joining in on what the other players are doing. The thing I want to say, like, which reminds me of things, is these dice, the dice actions, kind of reminds me of Cost of Burgundy, but done. And you also have mitigation for the different dice, because you begin with one of each, but then you're going to roll them, and you're going to have things you want and things you really don't want. And it's hard to get these ideas we can manipulate it. So let's talk about luck. Because we are usually, if you know our channel, if you don't subscribe, if you do know our channel, or you like our channel, or just like tolerate our channel, then you kind of probably know that we are not huge into luck. And the longer the game is, the less we like the luck. And this game has some elements of luck. Let's talk about the cards first.
Yeah, there's a lot of cards in the game.
Yes.
And when you are getting new cards, you can either choose to take one that is face up, so you know what you will get, or you can choose to like draft from the end.
You're drawing them from the deck. Yeah.
And then if you have upgraded this action, you will get more to choose from, basically, and can get more cards. But that is absolutely, if for example, there's a scoring over there, this round that I've set up, 2 of them actually, it says 4 points for each step that you moved on the yellow track. A lot of the movement on the tracks come from the cards that you play. So
most of it, like 99%.
So if I don't get cards that lets me move on the yellow track, I will not score a lot of points on that.
So it's kind of, and then it kind of feels like, because the actions are tight. So it's not like I'm going to be, it's for yellow, I'm going to try very hard to find some cards with yellow and do a lot of time with getting those cards.
You don't have time for that.
Because then I'm going to be able to do very much less things. So that then feels like it's, and again, the question is, do I need those points to win? Probably not. But let's say there is multiple of them and you never get any of it. Yesterday we played a game where there was one scoring you had 20, I had 0, another scoring you had 18, I had 0.
That's a big thing.
Of course, you might say that's a me problem, but I didn't have the cards or the means to do those things. So know that before going into the game. Another thing is, for example, building settlements. They don't exist, by the way. They are missing. These are just dudes laying down. So because they were missing in the copy, but it's being fixed. It was a problem with the copies.
Like
it
the
doesn't
whole
impact
map,
gameplay.
The whole map has some aspects of randomness. For example, if I'm looking for, let's say, herbs, I know that I will find it here now, because that's the only space in the grasslands that hasn't been explored yet. But for example, with these mountain resources, none of them have been explored yet. So I don't know where I will find the iron ore that I desperately need to build one of my cards. And also, there's a lot of sites here around that you can discover. That is an action to discover these sites. And those are completely random. Some, as you said, are very positive, some are negative. And these are absolutely essential if you want to build these buildings right here. So there's also, it could be lucky, it could be, but it is a randomness in this part of the game as well.
Yeah, because I tried to go for a strategy building these 4 settlements because it's pretty good. They're powerful, they give you a lot of good abilities. And I couldn't.
Nope.
I could build 2 because I was lucky. We started adjacent to this, so I could build 1, and then there was 1 building grounds adjacent to that. After that, I searched for more. I was the only person, and even one other person did exploration, and there was no more to be found. And there's 6 of them in the game. So you're supposed to find them, but we didn't. And then I just spent my actions doing that. You get some points. But it's not enough points to feel like that's going to win me the game. So it's kind of I did a couple times, like, okay, I'm going to give up. I'm going to try to do something else.
Dice rolls are another randomness element I would expect in a game of dice.
Fine.
And I think it's fine. It's ways to manipulate them with the ideas and the focus. And there's actions to get that. It feels like the workers in Classes of Burgundy, basically.
This is the thing that bothers me the least.
Oh, yeah.
But again, when I roll 4 2s, that's kind of annoying.
That kind of sucks. But as you said in the beginning, when you explained it, you don't have to reset and when it's completely empty.
Yeah.
So you can be like, okay, I don't want these 3 2s that are stuck here. I will just reset before I'm done.
You also have events. We are not usually hugely big fans of events.
Nope.
And these feel kind of weird and swingy from time to time because you will be, for example here, it says Civilization leads on the yellow track, gains the top face-up inside card with the yellow, and installs it immediately for free. So in one of our games, we had this, but for the brown track, and I had the whole game focused on the brown track, on brown buildings.
You got
and I went for that because I got a good card in the beginning that gave me bonuses for doing that. So I randomly had done that. So when we got to the last round, and that flipped over, there was no way, it looked kind of like this. I had like 8 or 9, and you had 1. There was no way for you to stop me. You could have kind of taken the card, and I've gotten another card because you actually took a card and unearthed another card. Because that card that I got for free just got me 30 points.
Yeah.
Just because I had randomly chosen to go for that in the beginning of the game.
I didn't like that. Because like everything in this game feels so hard to accomplish. And that's okay. If I will play a card, let me just tell you how that might happen.
Yes.
I will first spend 2 dice taking the card.
Yes.
Then I will find the resource that I need. So I have to, for example, spend an action moving the guy to the place that the resource is. Then I will have to produce that resource. Then I have to actually transport it to have it on my player board. Then I would have to play the actual card. And that's if it only costs 1 thing. Do you have an example of a card?
Yes.
Yes. Because...
So this card, for example, which is Porcelain and Invention, you will have to pay resources depending on how far up you're playing it. So let's say now we had already invented Crane. So I will install this now in the second row. So I had to pay 1 coal and 1 clay. And also if I had some features, I could just say I have them and get points as well. But the higher up you play, the higher the cost is going to be. Of course, sometimes you get a card already have some resources trying to get some cards, so it's not always that. But it always feels like, oh, I need some resources. How do I get that? Oh, I have to produce them. I have to be there, so I have to get them in. So there's a lot of steps.
I feel like this is like the core of the game. You feel like you have to do so many small steps to do the things that you want. It isn't just like, oh, I want this resource. I take 1 resource. No, I have to find the space, move the guy there, actually produce it. And yeah, there is a lot you can potentially do, but you will not have time to do all the stuff.
With that said, and it sounds like a very negative review, I think this is a very fun game.
Yeah, me too.
I enjoy this game a lot. I enjoy this game very much, but every time I play it, I kind of like, oh, you randomly got that, or you randomly got that, and you just have to be fine with that. Because getting the cool combos, finding a cool way of upgrading, finding a new card that gives you a really cool ability, all of that feels very good.
I agree.
And when you get to the past, you get past the first, the second game, it also flows pretty well. I think you can easily get this down to like 90 minutes with 2 players. We played a 3-player game, 1 player hadn't played before in just 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I don't even think it's going to be that long of a game. And even the setup and the teardown is pretty good because this, you can just take off all the pieces but keep all of these in here and just close it. And if you don't do like Suno and open it the other way around so everything falls out.
Perfectly.
It's very nice. There's even like a big red face on this that says like do not open it from this side. So all of that makes it a good game. Before we go into the final thoughts, who is this game for?
I think if you play with the same group a lot, I think it's easier to get this to the table.
Oh, yeah.
If you were introducing this constantly to new people, I don't see myself doing that.
Nope. It's easier than, for example, Feudum or like the biggest, heaviest games.
Absolutely.
But it's still a lot.
And like time-wise, I see this will be hitting the table mostly with 2 and 3 players, but I actually really thought that 3 was better than 2 because it opened up the map a little more. It didn't feel that hard to get the things done because you got more explored, so you knew where the resources were.
I will say that this feels very unique in the way that it's very much do whatever you want. And very much so in that when you start playing, you're like, but how do I get points? What is the goal here? And it's kind of easy to just like go in there's like, but what is good what should I upgrade? That depends on what you want to do. What do you want to do? I have no idea. And to get to the point where you kind of try to explore that and find new strategies, if you enjoy that in a game and you don't mind the luck factors that we have spoken about, I think you will like it.
Yeah.
So should we do some final thoughts?
Yes.
Do you want to begin?
I can begin.
Do it.
First time I played this game, did not enjoy it because it was so overwhelming.
Yes.
But then I find myself really having fun with this game. And trying in the beginning, when I get the cards, you get like two of each color, and you discard one of them each, and you kind of get a little direction to start with. Then you have I think I'm gonna go for this time. I'm gonna upgrade this action, maybe go this direction, and something happens in the game, and it's a lot harder than you thought it was. And just like, okay, this card that I had from the beginning, that I was planning my whole strategy around, I've still not gotten to play this card.
You're just thinking about me last night, yes.
But and all the things that you have to do in this specific order to actually achieve the things that you want to do. I find this puzzle very satisfying, and also trying to squeeze out the things that you have to do before somebody resets and triggers the end of the round. Find that very cool. But some of the luck elements in this game bothers me a bit. So I'm going to land this on a 7. It's a solid game.
Okay. I like this better than you, I guess. I think this is another great fun Stefan Feld game. Will it be my favorite? I don't think so. But it is unique, it's different, and it's fun. The thing is that I would have liked it to be a bit shorter for like the luck factors that are there. But the thing is, and I need to say this because people are going to say like, oh, there's not that much luck. Oh, people always say that. Like even in Yahtzee, people would say that. The thing is that depending on the route you go down, you can kind of choose what randomness, most of the cases, you want to mitigate. For example, it's very important to me to go on a specific track. I could mitigate this, or so I can draw more cards. So I have more like leeway in getting that. If I want to have more mitigation in the dice, I will upgrade my insight so I now get 6 ideas when I do this action, so that I will have easier time to manipulate the dice. So, and if I want to roll we even haven't spoken about it, but there's a lot of things that makes you roll the pink die. And depending on how far you are on this track, it's easier. If I want to mitigate that, I will take more pink dice. So there are ways to mitigate most of the elements. Not all, not like the random event that comes up and just basically gives me 30 points. But other than that, there are ways to mitigate and different routes to go down. And that is what I like. I'm going to land this on an 8. I think it's a great game. It's not my favorite game, but it's one that I really adore. So let's end it on the keyboard, Cull.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Do you have your paddle?
I do.
We're gonna do 1, 2, 3, boom!
I'm gonna keep it.
Yes.
Yeah. I think even though there's some factors in this game that it's not like the perfect fit for me, I still have a lot of fun when I play it.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at this on the shelf and be like, oh, I want to play that again. And I'm gonna remember how hard it is to teach. I'm gonna be like, I don't want to play that again. But I will play it with you because I think, though, even if we play this in a year, I think we'll be. The thing is that, and as the third player said yesterday, it's very easy to see the symbology, the symbols, the icons are very easy to read. So it's a pretty simple, I would say, to get into it again because there's not that many rules, but more. There's a lot of rules, but not that hard to comprehend.
I agree.
So yeah, that is the end of the video. We hope you enjoyed this review of Civolution. If you did, you can subscribe. If you didn't, you can subscribe because we do other videos as well.
That's true.
For example, videos where we speak about other board games.
That's true.
And that is the end.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. Not you, but you. I'm Johannes.
I'm Sunway.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.